Boss bitch, for sure. Listen to the mind of an Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're gonna talk about Mercury through the goddamn houses. Because Mercury is what make you think. Make you think. Make you think flights. Goddamn, Mercury is your goddamn spaceship. Mercury is your Thor, your Hermes, your motherfucking, Loki, you know what I'm saying, your trickster button, you know what I'm saying, anytime you need to, gain some information in some type of way, anytime you need to be logical, anytime you need to be rational, goddamn it, Mercury is your go-to god. Now, Mercury is like a little goddamn kid. So it likes to run around the goddamn house, climb the refrigerators, go into all the motherfucking utility drawers and shit and drink all the fucking dishwashing liquid. So you gotta be careful. You gotta watch Mercury. Because Mercury will be too curious and then be consciously aware of some bullshit that it doesn't need to be involved in. So you need to understand that. You can be receiving the wrong information that you're believing into. So Mercury is in a lot of different scenarios. Mercury is also like a masculine energy after the sun and things of that nature, so you need to keep that in mind. Same way we got you got the sun, moon. Same way you got Mars, Venus. Same way you got Mercury, Jupiter. Same way you got Gaia, Earth, Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Same way you got Uranus, Neptune. So we dealing with like a mother, father, grandparent, grandmother, son, daughter, you know what I'm saying, nephew, niece type of motherfucking orchestration when we talk about these motherfucking transits. And Mercury is the motherfucking youngest. So this is the kid that everybody got to keep their eye on before this motherfucker fall off the top of the goddamn refrigerator and break every goddamn bone in his goddamn body. So that's like Mercury for you. It takes you into all scenarios in this realm. You start putting names to things, start having ideas about things, or you may utilize your Mercury to believe into other people's ideas about things, or to what other people named things and gave meanings to. So keep that in mind. Mercury taps you right into that. So it's what makes you think. So for the most part, whatever house is in is going to let you know what area of life you're constantly thinking about. See what I'm saying? See how it comes into a motherfucking full circle? Now we lit this motherfucker. Let me come back down to 3D so we can talk about Mercury in the goddamn first house. Because I'm going to tell you off the motherfucking bat. Goddamn it, if you got Mercury in the first house, 9 times out of 10, you a motherfucker who really only think about your goddamn self. That's right. But for the most part, this can be positive and negative. Now, for the most part, we be in circumstances and situations that it may be necessary for us to think about ourselves. Because if we don't, we're going to get the short, pardon me, the short end of a circumstance, the short end of the stick, or be passive and let somebody take advantage of us. So for the most part, it's not always motherfucking good to be thinking about somebody else without thinking about yourself first. But if you leave that off and go too far into that end, thinking too much about yourself will lead you into selfish ass scenarios to the point that you manifested people in your life, and every time you're around them, you giving off this motherfucking energy that no one want to motherfucking help you. You see what I'm saying? And when your ass really needs some motherfucking help, you ain't gonna be able to fucking get it. Because when you need some help, that's when your mind is on somebody else shit. That's when your mind is on somebody else. That's when your mind is on somebody else's pockets. That's when your mind is on somebody else's circumstance. And when your ass was too busy giving all that energy day after week, thinking about your goddamn self, when it's time to receive that energy back, it ain't no refund. It ain't no currency. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no motherfucking currency, give and receive, or no motherfucking receipt to get back from that motherfucking shit. Because you weren't putting no energy in that motherfucker in the first place. AKA, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, you wasn't paying nobody else attention. So when it's time for you to receive, you broke as hell in that realm. So for the most part, you was thinking too much about your goddamn self. So try not to dive in that scenario. But also don't dive into that motherfucking passive scenario. And motherfucker, y'all Mercury's in the first house will be straight. So a lot of y'all Mercury's in the first house, y'all like to think about y'all personal issues. This is what's constantly on your mind. Your personal issues and your personal affairs. Now your personal issues could be just things that's personally inside of you. So your insecurities, your inner happiness, your and all things that's in your personal circumference. Things that's personal to you that you don't release out to others for other people can look at it and they can make it a part of their personal information. AKA giving out too much personal information about yourself to someone else. Also personal affairs. That's dealing with personal people. and personal places and things that you're personally absorbed in. So it's familiarity type of energy. So for the most part, these are constantly things that you're thinking about, and these are constant things that you're communicating with. So for the most part, you're thinking about your personality, and you're constantly thinking how other people are coming at you based upon the way they express their personality. So this is a Mercury in the first house. So you're very curious about personalities in general. So you may be even a person who manifests a lot of friends in your life, or you just got a personal talkative nature, or you're personally smart. Now, Mercury in the goddamn second house. Now, with Mercury in the second house, here's the motherfucking thing. What's constantly on your mind is your value systems, your values, your value, your ability to value where you're planting seeds at in your life. So it's what you have to offer to the world also, whether it's a gift, talent, trait, something you may have learned along the way, or your values, which could be people, places, things, jobs, and resources. You see what I'm saying? So these are the things that you value. So when you got Mercury placed in the second house, these are the things that's constantly on your mind. So for an example, you around associates, aka 11th house energy, or you might be in a relationship, aka 7th house energy, or you may be in your neighborhood, aka 3rd house energy. But that don't mean that you actually value these things. See, there's specific friends you value. You know what I'm saying? There's specific family members you value. There's certain things you value. Some people value money over certain things. Some people value other things over certain things. So if you value it, that's the only reason it's going to fall into your second house, which each house represents an area of life. So the second house represents your values, whether it's a person, place, or thing. Not just any old body, not just any old thing. So for the most part, when you're looking at your values and your value system, you see what I'm saying? For the most part, when you got Mercury in the second house, these are the things you're constantly thinking about. These are the things you're constantly analyzing about. These are the things that's constantly on your mind. And you're very curious too. So you may be very curious about material gains. You may be very curious about all things where people could plant seeds at to see things grow in their life and all kind of scenarios. But that's Mercury in the second house. And you may be a person who judge a person based upon their stability or what they have constructed in their life or what they have material-wise also. So make sure you're not doing that. Now, Mercury in the third house. Mercury loves to be here. Mercury is home here. Mercury's home is in here in the motherfucking sixth house. Now, for the most part, with Mercury being in the third house, right? Third house represents your surroundings. All things in your close proximities within arm reach. And everything that you're familiar with, whether it's a person, place, or thing, gift, talent, or trait. Now, this doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to value everything in the third house, like the second house. But you could be familiar with it. For an example, you're familiar with a lot of people. You're familiar with a lot of locations. That doesn't necessarily mean you value these things. So that doesn't put it in the second house. That puts it in the third house. So for the most part, when you got Mercury here, these are the things that you're constantly thinking about and analyzing about. Now, this is something that everybody in this realm should be thinking about. Their surroundings. You know what I'm saying? And the things that's named around them, fourth dimensional wise. So they can gain information and be curious. And also, motherfucking, Mercury being in the third house, the things you're familiar with. These should be the things that's on your mind so you can communicate these things fluidly. For an example, if you got a debilitated Mercury or Mercury is way away from your third house and say Mercury is in like, you probably got Mercury in the motherfucking ninth house or something like that, then it may be a little, or the eighth house. Or you see what I'm saying? It may be a little hard for you to actually keep your mind on your credentials. You know what I'm saying? What you're familiar with, whether that's a gift, talent, or trait. You might be too busy with your mind on morality or something like that. Or if you got Mercury in 11th house, you might got your mind too busy on what other people got to offer. Well, associates and things of that nature. You may waste too much time in your own life without having your mind on what you actually familiar with and what you actually could do in your credentials. So when a person got Mercury in the third house, they naturally on that shit. They naturally don't give a fuck about nobody's shit, but the shit that they wanna that they're familiar with, aka whether they went to school locally, you know what I'm saying, went to a college or got some type of potential or learned something based upon a situation that they was curious in or whatever like that. But these are the things that is going to be on their mind and constantly things that they're verbally communicating with others. You know what I'm saying? These are people who good in job interviews because they know how to communicate themselves and their surroundings and the things that they're good at based upon the shit that they're trying to get involved in. So if you're familiar with something, you probably went to school for it, and now you're probably going to get a job for it, so you know how to communicate that well. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you got Mercury in the motherfucking fourth house. Now, with Mercury in the fourth house, here's the motherfucking thing. Fourth house represents home, family, domestic issues, and wherever you feel wherever you feel comfortable at, and wherever you gain emotional stability at. That could be a relative house, the park, you taking a walk, wherever you feel comfortable at, where it should be in your heart, which is the fourth house. But for the most part, wherever you can feel comfortable at, that's what the fourth house represents. It also represents privacy. Now, for the most part, when you have Mercury here, this is what's constantly on your mind. So everybody may not know how you necessarily feel. You may keep that private a lot of times. You like to keep your feelings about things private. And a lot of times, what's on your mind is in search of comfortability. You know what I'm saying? What's on your mind is how to analyze and rationalize and relate domestic issues that may go too bad. What's on your mind, you know what I'm saying, is home, family, you know what I'm saying, vibrations, being comfortable. So, you know, you may not express any emotions, but what's on your mind is to be in places that resonate with your state of being or your vibration. So that's constantly on your mind. So a lot of times you may think certain things or say certain things to people to kind of shape the situation for you to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So you may not communicate in an emotional way, but you may say certain things in order for that to manifest you back into a comfortable place. AKA, you might say if you got Mercury in the fourth house, right? Just for an example. You might got Mercury in the fourth house. And you might be around a person that's making you feel uncomfortable at the moment. And they want you to do something that you don't necessarily want to do at the moment. Like go out with them and shit like that. But based upon your connection and you being their friend, Mercury in the fourth house is fourth house is private. So your thought about it is not going to be fully expressed. You're going to keep some of that private. So you're just going to consume yourself based upon the unseen realm, the feeling of it, and not the rationality of it or the body language of it, which you're still thinking about that, but it's not being expressed. So for the most part, when you go into that circumstance or situation, with Mercury in the fourth house, what happens here is since your thoughts is private, whatever like that, you may say certain things that may be indirect. It may reinvert how you truly feel, but whatever you're saying, you're trying to talk the person out of doing whatever you don't want to do. But you're not basically saying you don't want to do that. You're basically coming up with words, coming up with communication styles in order to talk them out of it. And then once they get talked out of it, you sit back in your mind and you relax now. You be like, all right, I ain't got to do that shit now. I talked them out of it. Without even expressing that you just didn't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? So that's how a Mercury in the fourth house work on a third dimensional level that I can break it down. Now, Mercury in the goddamn fifth house. Now, when a person got Mercury in the fifth house, here's the thing. Fifth house is dealing with expression, creativity, entertainment, fun and enjoyment. You see what I'm saying? So keep all those things in mind. And it's also dealing with children. Now, I don't really like to put children into that. I like to say childlike nature. So it doesn't matter if you're dealing with children or not. When you got planets in the fifth house, that planet act like a child a lot of times. That planet never grows up. So whatever planet it is, that would be a planet that stays young. So right now we're talking about Mercury. So Mercury stay childlike. Mercury stay curious-like. Mercury stay youthful right here. So Mercury doesn't really grow up. So Mercury doesn't like to be heavy and responsible here. It likes to stay upbeat and light. So it don't like the people who communicate too serious. It like people who like to communicate with expression and lighthearted and things of that nature. It like to be around people like that. So that'll be Mercury in the fifth house. Now, Mercury in the fifth house, your mind and the way you think is constantly on your creative expression. So a lot of times you may even express yourself in a way of you talk too much. Or you may express yourself as a person who think too much based upon your other alignments. If you got a lot of passive energy or a lot of introvert energy, then you may think too much. But if you got a lot of external energy and yang energy, then you may talk too much. But with Mercury being here, it's going to be Mercury energy in one way or another. Mercury yin is thinking too much. Mercury yang is talking too goddamn much. But it's going to do some goddamn analyzation. So for the most part, when we're talking about Mercury in the fifth house, another thing too was constantly on your mind and what you're constantly thinking about and what you constantly like to communicate about is things that's dealing with entertainment. So you may be into video games or you may be into all the technologies that's dealing with entertaining. So the apps that's dealing with entertainment and shit like that. You may be like to verbally express about communication. You may be really into music. You know what I'm saying? The way you talk always make you center stage. So you always causing problems or you always helping people in some way, shape, or form. Oh shit, damn. No, I had all these goddamn matches on me right here. That bothered me in the last video. That I had the blunt and motherfucker, I had a little ash print right there. I'm like, oh shit, and I ain't never look at it in the motherfucking camera and shit. So I got it caught it this time. But for the most part, yeah, Mercury in the fifth house. This was constantly on your mind. You constantly like to talk and communicate about what you got creatively going on, or just creative things in general. So keep that shit in mind. Also, with Mercury in the fifth house, you can talk too much, and that could be the way you express yourself, talking too much. So keep that in mind also. But you like to think and analyze and like shit that's dealing with logic or puzzling or mysteries and shit like that. This is the shit you're entertained by. You're entertained by mystery, logic, detective, investigation, far out logic shit and rational shit and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Now, Mercury in the sixth house. Now, Mercury loves to be here. Same way in the third house. Now, for the most part, the sixth house represents work or whatever you're working on. Health, routine, scheduling, practicalizing, your ability to criticize and look at the details of things. And for the most part, things you do on a day-to-day basis in your daily routines. So, motherfucker, this is what the sixth house represents. So, with Mercury here, this is perfect because this is a person who know how to keep things on schedule. They know how to rationalize, think, analyze about keeping things in pattern, routine, keeping things on the go. They know how to think clearly about health, was being affected at the right time based upon the circumstance and the situation. And these people constantly got work on their mind or things that they're working on. So they know how to add a lot of ideas and they know what it takes to network to get whatever they're working on to go, or they know how to communicate and talk their asses right into a motherfucking job. So they know how to think about what the job is actually needed at the moment to actually get the job or to actually have the job work fluidly. So people with Mercury in the motherfucking sixth house is very they make sense. You know what I'm saying? Where people don't make sense. For an example, you may got a lot of water or a lot of fire in your chart, right? And so when you're at work, you're in a circumstance or a situation where you feel like you're being held back. And if you got air, you may like work, but you may talk too much at work. So that's what gets you in trouble. Now, if you got any of those, earth signs is cool. But if you got any of those, super water, super fire, super air, but if you got Mercury in the sixth house, this will help balance you out a little bit because you will be able to think about work and the things that's necessarily needed at work when it's needed, or the things that's whatever you're working on. For an example, like if you got a whole bunch of fire or water, but you ain't got Mercury in the sixth house, or the third, but let's say right now the sixth house, because this is what we're talking about. Without Mercury being in the sixth house, a lot of times you may not anchor all your energy on whatever even you're working on. Even if you don't got a job, it could be something you're working on. But you might have a hard time with anchoring all your energy towards that because of other alignments and shit like that. But if you had Mercury in the motherfucking sixth house, then you would be a person to be like, all right, hold on, man, I gotta get back to what I was working on. You see what I'm saying? You would have that mentality faster than someone you're around who may be busy, who calling bitches all day, or if you're a chick calling no good ass motherfucking niggas all day and shit like that, and letting this motherfucker waste all your time, and then you ain't even motherfucker cook dinner for your motherfucking kid. So your kid was like, oh shit, why ain't you never put the pizza in the oven, mommy? You was like, oh, I forgot I put it there in the morning. And then it don't be till motherfucking next Friday that you actually cook the pizza that your kid been asking for motherfucking last week. So you see what I'm saying? You gotta keep that shit in motherfucking mind. But with Mercury in the goddamn sixth house, it's gonna help balance your ass. Now, when we got Mercury in the seventh house, this is seventh house represents relationships on all sorts. So for the most part, your business, co-workers, siblings, your mates, or whatever, all relationships that may ship off to a promised land or off a dam. Now, for the most part, it's also how you relate to people, places, and things. And it's how other people see your way of relating and things of that nature. So when you got Mercury in the seventh house, then you are a person who likes to constantly think and analyze about your relationships that you are in. Or you may be a type of person who just think about relationships in general. And you probably can't even think clearly without being in a relationship. You probably think that it's the right thing to do to be in a relationship, period. So for the most part, this is people with Mercury in the seventh house. So you clearly know how to analyze and communicate with others. You probably are a perfectionist or relationship guru, females and males, when you got Mercury in the seventh house. You see what I'm saying? And you know how to construct and analyze and rationalize amongst others. So for the most part, try not to become too passive, because you could be super passive here with Mercury in the 7th house to the point that you're too busy relating other people's thoughts into your own life. But for the most part, for the sake of relationship, you are a perfectionist right here. And if you got other alignments that don't allow you to be passive, you a motherfucking beast right here. Networking motherfucking masterette when you got Mercury in the 7th house. Mercury in the 8th house. Now I got this placement here also. Now for the most part, when we talk about Mercury in the 8th house, what is the 8th house? 8th house is the dark realm, all things behind the scenes. So for the most part, it's the energy that forced you to do some type of investigation or detective work in order to bring what was in the dark into the light, bring what was underneath the surface to the surface. You see what I'm saying? So this is dealing with lies, cheating, manipulation, but this is also dealing with life, death. And when I say life and death, that's just transformation. Also sex. When I say sex, that's just the joining of two energies to create another energy. You see what I'm saying? Now for the most part, also this is dealing with deep internal power, deep internal control, deep internal transformation, deep internal intent, and alternative motives, and your passions and your motivations. So it's the deep ones, the ones that people don't see, the shit that truly motivates you, that people don't even know that's giving you your power every day. So it's that shit. So for the most part, when you got Mercury here, this is the realm that you're constantly thinking about. You're constantly analyzing and thinking about the behind the scenes realm. So you really don't give a fuck about a person's body language or what they're saying in front of you. You're constantly thinking about the vibrations that you're picking up behind it, the meaning and reasonings behind it. You're constantly thinking about alternative motives. You're constantly thinking that other people are up to things. So by default, it could take your Mercury, aka your mind, too deep to the point that some shit ain't that deep. So when you don't got a breath of fresh air, you don't reach to the surface, you drown yourself. Aka you get lost into your own realm and you think everybody is against you, or you just be in your own dark realm and you don't know how to relate. That's when the negative side of it come out. But for the most part, you are a person who likes to think and constantly observe about the behind the scenes realm, about what's beneath the veil. You know what I'm saying? What people are not thinking about. And for the most part, you are a person who know how to read other people's minds, because for the most part you don't give a fuck about body language and you don't give a fuck about the words. So you're just picking up the you're what's on your mind, and what you're constantly thinking about is what you're receiving from others, and you're receiving the vibe through the words and through the body language. So for the most part, you picking up a vibe that another person don't even think they're doing. Another person to get in their ego and mask themselves all day into their actions. A Mercury in the 8th house will look at a person like, why they even have these masks in the first place. So they'll start to analyze and try to rationalize what makes a person act this way in the first place. And that's what by default makes a person could read a person's mind. Because a Mercury in the 8th house is not actually reading your mind. They're just actually analyzing what makes you that way in the first place. And there's only so many routes a person could take for them to come to the conclusion to act that way. So for the most part, this what makes Mercury in the 8th house seems like they can read minds. But for the most part, the 8th house also represents secrets. So they don't express all these things also. Because when you start to express things that's not apparent, aka it didn't take a shape and form, you're presenting things in this realm of reality that doesn't need to be presented. So you end up being a demon. You end up being the one that was doing something that you're not supposed to do. You end up being the one not supposed to go with the flow. Then you end up being frustrated while you even receiving these energies in the first place, because you don't know, there's no way how to deal with it. So you know the 8th house is tricky for all the planets, especially the moon. But when we talk about the Mercury, now the benefits of it is you're able to analyze and size people up and see things that other people are not being able to see, and pick up the behind the scenes realm, and you're able to analyze it. So you're able to construct it, put it in words and stuff like that. But the bad part about it is your thoughts got to be kept sacred. You know what I'm saying? You can't express these thoughts, because these thoughts is not even thoughts that you're picking up. You're just formulating a thought on something that's not even in this realm yet. So for the most part, it's like you kind of caught between worlds. So you got to kind of not play on that end when you got Mercury in the 8th house. Now, Mercury in the 9th house. Right here, Mercury doesn't like to be here either. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't like to be here either. So the positive is going to be able to rationalize some broad shit. But at the same time, is going to be able to rationalize some shit that's really not rationalized. Really, you're supposed to be rationalizing some shit that's going to be hard to communicate. Same way I was just talking about the eighth house. You see what I'm saying? That I have to be with Mercury in the eighth house. I have to be an astrologer or something. Otherwise, nobody gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. So it's going to be like the same way and just in a different spectrum with Mercury in the ninth house. You see what I'm saying? Your mind on the good end, could think and rationalize some broad shit dealing with morality, spirituality, and all kind of shit. Education, wisdom, knowledge, experiences. And when we talk about experiences is always a spiritual nature. It's always hard to try to talk about. You ever went through a situation where you was talking to somebody who was like, man, it's hard to explain. So you just try to express through the words the feeling of it the best way you can, and that's the only way a person spiritually can connect with it based upon the resonation. That's what I mean by that. So when you got Mercury in the ninth house, you will understand all that shit, but try to talk about it. Try to communicate about it. God damn it, you better be a goddamn guru. You better went to school and for a couple years to learn how to formulate this into words. Your ass better went into some deep meditation or something like that. Otherwise, your ass better just keep that to yourself, because it ain't gonna make sense to nobody. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta keep that in mind. But your mind is constantly on moral systems, broad philosophical points of views of looking at the world, spirituality, and God. You know what I'm saying? All your experiences, meanings and reasonings, wisdom and knowledge, and you travel very far within your mind. It's just, can you bring that back into this realm of reality so other people can know how far you travel, so other people don't look at that like, oh, you just lost somewhere. See what I'm saying? Now, Mercury in the goddamn 10th house. Now, the 10th house represents what you're known for, how you're seen, your status, and what ultimately can become your career. So it represents your popularity level also, and how you get from point A to point B and gain structure in your life. So when you got Mercury here, this is what's constantly on your mind. This is what you're constantly thinking about. This is what you're constantly in a circumstance and situation of thinking that you got to come up with ideas, thinking that you got to communicate with others, get help or network and things of that nature, or make yourself a part of things and rationalize, or even if you have to analyze someone else's success story and see what to do and what not to do. With Mercury in the 10th house, you all for it, and this is what your mind constantly on. So this is good for business savvy people, but it's horrible for people who are in relationships with their family or their friends, because your mind is never catering to them. Your mind is always catering how to get ahead. So these people may look at you as you're just using them. So you never want to put yourself in that kind of scenario when you got Mercury in the 10th house, but it will put you in that scenario. You know what I'm saying? Your mind constantly going on, climbing a ladder, getting ahead, and you'll step on anybody, even your goddamn mama. So for the most part, you don't want to necessarily do that. So keep that in mind. But with Mercury in the 10th house, you're very good at rationalizing and analyzing how to get from point A to point B. And if you got a bunch of other alignments that stop you from doing that, Mercury in the 10th house is going to make you frustrated when you see somebody else getting success, when you see somebody else getting ahead, when you see somebody else prospering. It's going to make you highly frustrated within the mind and make you talk very nasty amongst people and circumstances. Now, Mercury in the 11th house. Now, the 11th house represents the 3rd and the 7th house on a broad level. So it's how you conduct yourself in the public arena, and how you came to that conclusion is dealing with the unknown and the unfamiliar. The unknown is things that can be known, but it's new things being discovered every day. So that's science, astrology, occult, mysticism, technology, and all things under technology. Phones, gadgets, cameras, texting, and all different type of ways of communicating. I mean, we don't do phone booths and all that no more. Now we got motherfucking smartphones. Then you got motherfucking the unfamiliar. These things can be familiar, but you're not with these things on a 24/7 basis. So this can represent family, friends, associates, things you are associated with, organizations, how you organize, the location of these places. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you conduct yourself in a public arena, and that's the 11th house. All things in the 3rd and the 7th house on a broader level. So when you got Mercury here, your mind is constantly on associates, people that's not your family, people that's not really your friends, people that you feel like they more a part of you, so you want to detach from something that you may be a part of previously. So you want to step and put your mind in more of an unfamiliar space than a familiar space, aka the familiar space is the 3rd house, the unfamiliar space is the 11th house. So your mind is more on unfamiliarity, wanting to experience, wanting to deal with newness, uniqueness, originality, even if it comes to a point that you have to change, rebel, and oppose against something mentally. So for the most part, Mercury in the 11th house will put you on a lot of different scenarios in that area. Also, you know what I'm saying? It'll take your mind off locally, and it'll put your mind on globally. So it's good for shared values or wanting to get some type of public gain, but it's very bad because it can create a very gullible person, and a person who can get led astray based upon people who may not be necessarily good for them. Then you got Mercury in the motherfucking 12th house. Now here's another place it doesn't like to be in. Mercury hates to be in the 9th or the 12th house, but it loves to be in the 3rd and the 6th house. Now for the most part, when it's in the 12th house is representing dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination, supernatural, fantasies. Now why Mercury don't like to be here? Because Mercury is masculine and it's like the young curiosity ass kid, and it likes to communicate, and it likes to be curious, and it likes to receive information. Now when you're communicating, a lot of times if you're communicating about things that don't make sense in this realm of reality, it's because it's not an element that have been willed into this realm yet. That's why it's not real, or what you call reality. So when you look at dreams and imaginations and creativity and shit like that, that's not actually real yet. That's actually still in your dream and imagination. So when it's time to communicate about that shit, Mercury has a hard time in that space, aka the 12th house. Mercury is going to have a motherfucking hard time communicating about dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. And then your imagination and dreams is all, when you communicate it, it's always going to come out as an illusion. It's never going to come out as creativity unless you have some type of physical or material or something in this realm that you could bounce back and forth off of in order to show people, like, look, this is what I'm trying to talk about, other than verbally trying to talk about it. You see what I'm saying? You could get on stage. You could have some type of artistic nature. You could have some type of microphone. You could have some type in front of some type of movie studio. Whatever you need to do, these is the things that you're actually good at, Mercury in the 12th house wise, because that's the only way it's going to be expressed well. Otherwise, the moment you start trying to communicate and inspire somebody else about your motherfucking dreams based upon your talking game, god damn it, you're going to fall off the motherfucking cliff. So with Mercury in the 12th house, you need to goddamn know that. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air. Love y'all on this motherfucker.